friends, it's Josie and welcome back to my channel. So today we are making snacks for the kids to make something easy for them and so that I don't have to buy as many prepackaged snacks. I'm trying to avoid that. So this is one of the things I've been trying to do is meal prep all their snacks so that we can go ahead and get that done, have it out the way, and it'd be easy because it's meal prepped all at once. If you see videos with me in the same shirt, it's because it's the weekend and I normally like to bulk film because this is the most time that I have and to do anything really. So that is why. Also, I don't know exactly how many things we're going to do today. We're just going to play it by ear and see how much time that we have and go from there. But first off, we are going to start with the blueberry applesauce. We've never had this, so I'm curious to try it. But I'm sure we will like it because we love blueberries and applesauce. So we will see how it goes. So first things first, you want to get 4 pounds of apples, and you want to peel them, core them, and core them, slice them, and dice them. And we will put them in this bowl while we are finishing up, and then we will move on to the next thing. So this drawer is so not organized. Okay, so I have my apple slicer here. So I think we're just going to do this, even though it is a little hard for me. And we are going to just do this. You want 4 pounds. You can use whatever apples you want. But I'm using this one, the cosmic ones, because they were on sale. And I was like, oh, those are on sale. So I got 2 bags. So I got 2 bags of them so that we will have plenty to make this. And 1 bag was only 3 pounds. But I think this will be a really good and healthy snack for them. And then we can save a little bit, or save, from getting we can save from getting processed stuff and just have this instead, which we don't fully stop processed stuff, but every little bit counts, and that's what we are trying to do, because I just don't want to stop everything right away and then, it not be, they might not be too happy or whatever. And also because of convenience. Let's be honest, it's a lot easier to get processed foods, especially if you have sports or something and you just need a quick snack. But of course, there are always healthier options, even with prepackaged stuff that you can get. So I guess that's that. But I'm going to continue to do this, and then I will just bring you on back whenever I get done, and we'll tell you what we have to do next. So I rinsed off my apples, and now I'm just going to add these into this pot. You could use a Dutch oven or a regular pot that you have. You want it to be at least 6 quarts. And then to this, you want to add in some wild blueberries. And I have some right here. You want 3 cups. And if you didn't know, which I learned this just yesterday, but if you did not know, wild blueberries have more antioxidants than normal blueberries. And also, wild blueberries are even better because in most cases, they don't get sprayed as often because they're wild. So I learned that, and I thought that was cool because I never really thought about it. So I'm gonna put this in this freezer bag just because I don't want these to ruin or get freezer burnt. So next to our pot, you want to add in a 4th cup of sugar. The recipe calls for coconut sugar, but I don't have any of that, which would make it healthier, but I only have the regular sugar, so that's what I'm using. Next to this, we also need to add in a 4th cup of water. So next what we want to do is zest 1 whole lemon and juice it. You want about 2 tablespoons of the juice. Make sure whenever you are zesting your lemon, you don't get any of the white in here because then that will make whatever you're putting it in bitter. And we don't want that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this lemon and then we are going to juice it. And I honestly think I got enough with just that one because these were really, really juicy. So that is all I'm going to do. Yeah, I think so. So next we want to add in about a teaspoon of some vanilla. And then we want about a 4th of a teaspoon of salt. Then you just want to give this all a stir, and then we will put this on a medium-high setting. And if you're wondering, I did not worry about putting my apples in some lemon water whenever I was cutting them up, just because the color's gonna change from the blueberries. So I wasn't worried about that at all. Okay, I got that all stirred up. Now I'm gonna put it on a medium-high heat. So we are going to let this come up to temperature, and then once the liquid down on the bottom starts bubbling, then we are going to move it down to medium low, and then we will put a top on it and let it cook for about 30 minutes or so. Okay, so this is boiling a little bit, the liquid, so I'm going to cover it, and we are going to leave this covered after, I don't know if that's the right lid or not, but it's going to be the right one today. So we are going to cover this turn it to medium low, or just we're gonna turn it to medium. And then in about 20-25 minutes, maybe even 30, we'll check it, and we will see if it's tender enough, and then we will go from there. But in the meantime, we are going to go ahead and start some chewy homemade granola bars. So you want to get an 8x8 pan and then spray it, and then we're going to set that to the side, and we'll start mixing up our ingredients. For this recipe, we need some brown sugar. So before we even get started, I'm going to make some just really quick. And I am going to do this in just real time, no editing, so that, whoops, I'm talking too much. Let me see. I'm going to do it in real time, though, so that y'all can see how fast it takes to make your own brown sugar and how it is totally worth it, in my opinion. So there's a cup of it. And then we need to go and get our molasses. If I can find it. I know I have it. So I keep it in a bag because it gets so messy. But I really just need to clean it. But we don't judge. So to this, you want to add in about a tablespoon of molasses to 1 cup, which that's probably too much, but it's okay. So the more molasses you put, the darker your brown sugar will be. So if you want it to be light, you will put 1 tablespoon, and then you can just add it from there, depending on how dark, if you're needing it to be dark or whatever, or medium. And that's the good thing about doing it yourself, is that you don't really need to buy a light one and a dark one. You can just buy molasses. You already have sugar, and then you can make your own brown sugar at home. This is a lot easier if you do it like in a food processor, blender, or anything like that. You can do it like that in no time whatsoever. And that's how I normally do it whenever I'm trying to make a whole container of our brown sugar. But I haven't done that yet, just because I haven't needed brown sugar until now. So that's why we are going ahead and making up some. Okay. And just like that, you have your brown sugar. So now we can set that aside. So to a saucepan, you want to add in 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I only have salted. That's what I use all the time. So this is what we are going to add. So we're going to add 6 tablespoons of brown sugar into a saucepan. And next we need to add in 2/3 cups of honey. And then we are going to turn this to like a medium-low heat. And we're going to start letting it dissolve. And then we are going to start whisking it together as soon as it becomes a little bit more easier to do that. So while that is doing its thing, we are going to need to add in, see what this one is, 3 cups of oats. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to add in our cereal. So for this, you need rice cereal. And we need 1.5 cups of these. If you hear my son, he's getting a bath and he doesn't like to get his hair washed. So that is why he is upset. So that's 1, and then there is 1/2. So now we are crumbling up some graham crackers. We are just needing the pieces and crumbs, and you want about 1/2 cup of these. Okay, so there is that. And then also to this mixture, we want to add in about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then we are going to give this a good toss. And then we're going to add this butter mixture all over the contents in the bowl. And then we are going to whisk this all together. And then we want to let this cool for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then we will start adding in like the chocolate chips and marshmallows or whatever else you want in these. So now this mixture over here for the applesauce is tender enough. So now we are going to blend it up. You can use a regular blender if you don't have immersion blender, but I find that this is so much easier and less things to clean up if you do have one of these. Find somewhere to put this. Because you can just do everything right here in the pot. So all we are doing is just trying to puree it to become an applesauce. But just make sure that you are very careful because it is very hot. So now we are going to take this out. So at this point, if it is too watery for your liking, then you can turn the heat back on and let it, simmer for a few more minutes. If it's too thick, then you can add a tablespoon of water at a time. But let me see what mine looks like. Mike, you come here. I think this one is fine, but I'm having somebody else to check for me. You think this is thick enough, or is it too runny for applesauce?
No, it's good.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so once it's done, then we are going to ladle this into our jars. You could do these in like the little mason jar so that they're already like proportioned for for your kids or whoever is eating it. But this is easy for them to just go ahead and get it out of this size. So that's what I'm doing. And then I had another one, a smaller one that we're going to do as well. Try not to touch too much of anything because this will stain, but it's kind of hard. You can leave this in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, and then you can put it in the freezer for I think it's like a couple of months, and then 3 months is if you put it in the freezer, and then you can also can these at this as well, which will make it last for a year. And that is it, you guys. You want to let this cool in the fridge, and then from there you can put it in the freezer, whatever you're trying to do with it. But this is all I'm doing with it, and I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit out here, and then put it in the fridge, and then we will enjoy it whenever we need it. So we are now back here with the granola bars, and now we are going to add in some little marshmallows. These are the Jet Puff Bits ones. It took forever for us to be able to find these, but now we have, so we finally got them in our store. Okay, and then it calls for mini chocolate chips. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use a half a cup of regular one. I think it'll be just fine. And then you just want to mix this up. So once that is all mixed together, then you want to go ahead and add it to your pan. And then you want to spread it out as evenly as possible and pat it down. And then we will let this cool and solidify in the fridge for about 2 hours. And you want to do that before you cut it. Okay, friends, so we have our blueberry applesauce done. We have our granola bars in the fridge, and those are solidifying so that we can cook them in about another hour. So I thought I would go ahead and get this banana bread started before I went to calm it down. The kids are doing their own thing. Owen, the baby, is sleeping. So I can do a little bit more, a little bit quicker. So first, what we are going to do is get our bananas, mash them up. We already preheated the oven to 350. This recipe is from the Farmer's Table, also known as Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm. She actually just posted this a couple of days ago, and I was like, I have bananas that are ripe and ready, so I can go ahead and try her recipe out, which I thought was cool. So I just need to get a bowl and we are going to mash up these bananas. You typically want 3 to 4 very ripe bananas. I only have 3. Usually when I make banana bread, I like to use 4, but I just don't have that today. So it is going to be 3. And I almost not didn't even have these because my son's been trying to get into them. That one's a little gross, but I think it'll be fine. So he's been trying to, I'm going to take that part off. He's been trying to get into them, and I've been really wanting to save them to try the recipe, but he's, really been wanting them. But these are too soft for him. He wouldn't be able to eat them without making a huge mess, as you can see. Let's see how this one is. Okay, that one's good. So yeah, so you just want to add these into a bowl, and then you just want to start mashing them. Put it over here, maybe it'll be less noise. And you can cut these up in chunks if you want, but I like mashing them. I always have. I just like how the texture of the bread comes out better when they're mashed. And if your bananas are ripe enough, then they will mash extremely easy. And like always, I will link all of these recipes down in the comments below. In the description box below, so that you all can find them and you can see who the creator is, because of these recipes I did not create these. Okay, so that is my banana. So I'm going to put this in my trash bowl right here. Those were very ripe. So now we are going to go ahead and add in our sugar into our banana mixture. So you could use a regular sugar in this if you would like, but brown sugar I think, just adds that extra touch, and so does Jess. So that is pretty cool. You might have to add just a tad bit of regular sugar because I didn't have quite enough brown sugar, and I honestly do not feel like making any right now. And then we need to add 2 large eggs. And then we want a stick of butter. So with your butter, you want it room temperature. That one wasn't. I just got it out of the fridge, so I just popped it in there for a little bit. And then you want half of a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to mix this together. We're going to set that aside, and then in this bowl right here, we are going to start adding in our dry ingredients. So we will need 1.5 cups of our flour. 2 our flour, you want to add in a teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then we are also going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of some cinnamon. And then we're going to mix this all together. And then we are going to add in our wet ingredients. So now you want to get your loaf pan and then spray it. And then we are going to add in this batter. You could double this recipe if you wanted to. It would be pretty easy to do. And with this recipe, Jess also said that you need to, or you can't, like this is a good base for all different kinds of breads, like peach bread or pineapple or whatever kind of fruit you have. She said that this is very versatile and you can use it in so many different ways. She also said that with your loaf, if you make a little indent, like a little line, I don't know if mine will do it. If you make a little line and then add in your oil in that line, then it'll come out a little bit better. It will look prettier, whatever. I'm not quite for sure, but that's okay. And now we're going to pop this in the oven at 350 for about 55 minutes or until the bread comes out clean on a toothpick. The banana bread did come out as well. We just have not yet to try it. But by the time this video comes out, I'm sure that we would have, and then I will let you know during that time. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, and I will see you next time.